नमस्कार। श्री Ramakrishna Kathamrita. तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग तृतीय खंडो षष्ठ परिच्छेद. The sixth chapter continues today, and Sri Ramakrishna is telling us about the seven planes and attainment of the knowledge of Brahman. Shaptabhumi, O Brahmagan. How a person can attain the knowledge of Brahman through these seven planes which are located in our body at various points. And Sri Ramakrishna told us that till the time the mind dwells in the lower three planes, the organ of evacuation, organ of reproduction, and the navel, the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, these three chakras, till the mind dwells in these three planes, it is absolutely merged in the worldly attachments. It thinks nothing but lust and greed. That is the nature of these three planes in our human body. But the tendency of the mind basically is to rise up just because of that delusion of Maya, getting intermingled with the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It keeps on dwelling itself in these three basic planes. And then through the mercy, through the compassion of the divine, finally the upward journey starts and the mind comes and reaches in the fourth plane, the plane of heart, the Anahata Chakra. And what Sri Ramakrishna told us yesterday, that having reached this place, the person, the mind, it sees that beautiful divine illumination, divine sparkle, and just awestruck with that illumination keeps on saying, Eki, Eki, what is this? What is this? You see, till then, having merged in the worldly attachments of lust and greed, the mind never thought of there could be such a wonderful illumination. And it starts saying, what is this? What is this? This thing exists. Till then, I was thinking life to be only within those three realms, first, second, third, and getting entangled in the worldly enjoyments. But having come to the level of heart, having experienced that divine bliss of illumination, that divine spark, divine light, enlightening the self, now it is awestruck, it is wonderstruck, and starts saying, Eki, Eki. তখন আর নিচের দিকে মন যায় না. Once it gets established here in the center of heart, then the mind just does not want to go back to those lower planes where it was engaged in enjoying all the worldly things under the influence of lust and greed. Now it doesn't want to go down. It is like that the non-returnable valve that we use, in our factories. Now the heart doesn't want to go back. It doesn't want to return to the mind doesn't want to return to those lower planes. তখন আর নিচের দিকে মন যায় না. It can't, it just keeps on dwelling here, engrossed, enjoying that spiritual illumination, that enlightenment. But still, that is not the end, Sri Ramakrishna says. And now, in today's reading, Sri Ramakrishna is taking our mind up and up and up and up to the higher planes. What Sri Ramakrishna says, মনের পঞ্চম ভূমি কণ্ঠ. Now he says, the fifth plane for the mind to go up is this throat. Here. মন যার কণ্ঠে উঠেছে তার অবিদ্যা অজ্ঞান সব গিয়ে ঈশ্বরীয় কথা বই অন্য কোনো কথা শুনতে বা বলতে ভালো লাগে না. Once the mind reaches here at the fifth plane in the throat, then তার অবিদ্যা অজ্ঞান সব গিয়ে, then having got rid of all the ignorance, all the bad tendencies, illusions, they get rid of as the mind comes here. And then the mind does not like any other thing but Ishburiyo Kotha, only the talk of God. And that is what starts happening here when the mind comes to this place. The talk of God, chanting of Lord's name, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, all these things they start when mind comes from the plane of heart as it rises up to this Vishuddha Chakra. And যদি কেউ অন্য কথা বলে, now look at the condition of the mind when it reaches this the fifth plane of throat. What happens? যদি কেউ অন্য কথা বলে, if somebody talks any other useless things, the gossips and worldly things, সেখানে থেকে উঠে যায়. Then the person can't sit in that atmosphere. The person will just get up from that place and go somewhere else in solitude to keep the mind dwelling over here. And then no more, no attractions. The person doesn't like the nonsense talks. The person doesn't like the useless gossips. What has happened to him? What has happened to her? No. At that time, the mind is only interested in talking about, in listening to the Lord's name. That is the ultimate. And মনের ষষ্ঠ ভূমি কপাল. And the sixth plane for the mind to go is the forehead, between the eyebrows here. মন সেখানে গেলে অহর্নিশি ঈশ্বরীয় রূপ দর্শন করে. Once mind goes to this sixth plane, day and night, the mind, the person, we get a vision of God, nothing else. Vision of our Ishta. That form, that beloved form of our mother, that beloved form of our Krishna, that beloved form of our Buddha, that beloved form of our Jesus, and that beloved form of our Ramakrishna, that beloved form of our Ma. That is what. Then the tendency of the person goes beyond speaking even. No speaking. Here it is light. Here it is words, chanting of the name of the Lord. But here it is nothing but the vision of our chosen ideal. তখনও একটু আমি থাকে, and Thakur Sri Ramakrishna, he uh, makes us aware of a fact that even after reaching this plane, a little, a tiny portion of aham still remains. Because with that aham, maybe it is aham of a devotee, like Sri Ramakrishna had told us earlier, that aham of the devotee makes us feel being different from the Lord, from our Ishta, and that's why we can see. That's why we can have the vision of that form. So till this plane, the aham doesn't leave us. The ami doesn't leave us. It comes with us. And then we see, as we are experiencing that blessed vision of our chosen ideal, as we are experiencing that blessed vision of our mother, we as a child, we just keep on enjoying that blissful vision of Ma. But that I still remains. সে ব্যক্তি সেই নিরূপম রূপ দর্শন করে উন্মত্ত হয়ে. And Sri Ramakrishna says that at this point, the mind having come at this point of Ajna Chakra, সেই নিরূপম রূপ দর্শন করে উন্মত্ত হয়ে, the person gets intoxicated. He gets a divine intoxication of having seen that nirupam roop, that beautiful, blessed, blissful form of his chosen ideal. সেই রূপকে স্পর্শ আর আলিঙ্গন করতে যায় কিন্তু পারে না. Now the child has seen its mother, and the child wants to go and embrace the mother and sit on her lap, but it can't. It can't, because there's still that I remaining, differentiating between my mother and me as her child. So I can't touch my mother. I'm not able to touch my mother. I'm not able to embrace my mother. যেমন লণ্ঠনের ভিতর আলো আছে. Now Thakur is giving this another beautiful example of why we cannot touch or why we cannot embrace our chosen ideal, having got the vision. What is preventing it? Now Sri Ramakrishna says, যেমন লণ্ঠনের ভিতর আলো আছে, মন হয়ে আলো ছুলাম ছুলাম, কিন্তু কাঁচ ব্যবধান আছে বলে ছুঁতে পারা যায় না. Like Sri Ramakrishna was giving this beautiful example of a lantern. We see that light inside, the light in the lantern. And having seen that light, having seen that flame, we desire to touch it. But what happens? The glass cover outside the lantern is preventing us from teaching that flame. It is not allowing. Although the glass is transparent, we can see the flame. We can see that beautiful shape. We can see that beautiful form. But we are not able to touch it because there is a barrier of the glass covering. Now, because of that glass covering, because of that army, we are not still, we have seen the form, but we are still not able to touch the divine, touch the chosen deity. To touch, we are not able to touch that form or embrace it or go and sit on mother's lap. Something is preventing it. Some barrier is still there. That barrier is army. And now Sri Ramakrishna says, Shirodeshu Shoptam Bhumi. That is the ultimate. That is the seventh plane. And on that seventh plane, সেখানে মন গেলে সমাধি হয়ে আর ব্রহ্মজ্ঞানীর ব্রহ্মের প্রত্যক্ষ দর্শন হয়ে. And if the mind goes to that plane, the seventh plane, then what happens? Then one transcends the physical plane and enters into samadhi. That is the transcendental bliss that one observes as the mind goes up. Brahmogyanir Brahmer Pratyaksha Darshan Hoy, and that is the stage when the knower of Brahman actually experiences the Brahman. Thakur has used the word darshan hoye, that is for the experience of Brahman. It is not actually the vision. He experiences what is Brahman. কিন্তু সে অবস্থায় শরীর অধিক দিন থাকে না. But Sri Ramakrishna tells us that in that condition, once our mind reaches the seventh plane, it can't last long because the Jivatma has actually merged, has experienced what is Paramatma, and then the Jivatma wants to merge into Paramatma, having experienced what is that ultimate reality. Then the body cannot remain. Then the body has to die. That body cannot remain for long if one gets that particular stage, reaches that particular stage. Shorboda behush. One is not aware, one is as if he is unconscious, as if one gets into coma. Shorboda behush. Kichu khete pare na. One can't eat anything because there is no sense. There is no sense of outer world. The person can't eat anything. Mukhe doodh dile gadiye jai. If you forcefully put some milk in the mouth, it runs out. It cannot enter the body because all the functions have stopped. এই ভূমিতে 21 দিনে মৃত্যু. That is, once the mind reaches this plane, on this plane of consciousness, if the mind dwells for 21 days, the body just collapses. There is death, the physical death. The Atman rejoices, but having dwelt in this plane for 21 days, there is no more body, no more physical activity. The body just dies. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, E Brahmoganir Avastha. And Sri Ramakrishna says, this is the state of the knower of the Brahman, the Brahmajnani. But Sri Ramakrishna says, he tells the Brahmo devotees that Tomader Bhakti Path, but your path is path of devotion, because the Brahmajnanis, although they believe in the formless aspect of the God, they have the path, they are dwelling on the path of devotion, and Sri Ramakrishna appreciates it. তোমাদের ভক্তিপথ ভক্তিপথ খুব ভালো আর সহজ. It is a very nice path. The path of devotion is a very nice and very easy. All one has to do is just devote oneself to the lotus feet of the Lord. Wholehearted devotion, wholehearted faith in the Lord, in the Mother, and do all your activities with that devoted mind, with the mind devoted to the Lord. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna says that you people are nice, you have this path of devotion. So, one thing, you can only reach up to here. Up to here is quite normal for you because you're chanting the name of the Lord. Your mind is here. That is wonderful. You're seeing that illumination. But on this path of devotion, that with that army being still here, you're not reaching the seventh plane. So there is no fear of death after 21 days for you. You're enjoying the beautiful vision of your mother. You're enjoying the chanting the name of your mother. You're enjoying that divine illumination, that divine light. Enjoy. That is very nice path. And Sri Ramakrishna says that is the easiest path. So let us focus and keep contemplating on this teaching of Sri Ramakrishna about the seven planes, and let us enjoy being in the plane of Vishuddha. Let us enjoy being in the plane of Ajna. Let us not think about Sahasrara, taking the mind over there and merging ourselves into the Brahman. No need. Let us be in these three planes, the Anahat, the Vishuddha, and the Ajna, and enjoy the bliss of Mother, enjoy the bliss of the Lord. And next, in the same chapter, Sri Ramakrishna is going to tell us about the dropping off of the duties after attaining Samadhi. And then Sri Ramakrishna is also going to tell us about his own experience of how the works, how the obligatory duties automatically drop off when one has attained Samadhi. So that is for our next reading. As of now, Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.